Have you ever felt as though the world has turned its back on you? As though every prayer rises to the heavens but returns unanswered? In moments like these, the heart whispers, "Has God forgotten me?" But listen carefully, for in the land of the ancestors it is said, "The drumbeat of God's plan never falters. It only sounds different to our ears." Today's tale will remind you that what looks like an ending may in truth be a beginning. Long ago, in the kingdom of Zawara by the endless sea, there lived a fisherman named Kofi. He was strong, humble, and trusted the river spirits with all his heart. One season, he joined a trading ship bound across the ocean. But the skies are fickle, and before they could reach their journey's end, a mighty storm rose. Lightning split the clouds, waves towered like mountains, and the ship shattered into pieces. All who sailed upon it perished except Kofi. The sea tossed him like a leaf, but the spirits did not abandon him. After many hours, the waves carried his weary body to the shore of a lonely island. When he awoke, sand clung to his face, and the roar of the sea filled his ears. He looked around, saw no people, no houses, no food, only the endless stretch of wilderness. His heart sank like a stone. Lifting his eyes to the heavens, he cried, "O Great Spirit, Father of the skies, do not forsake me. Send help to your servant, for I am alone." Every morning he prayed, but the horizon showed only sea and sky. Days passed. Hunger gnawed at him, and despair followed him like a shadow. At last, he gathered driftwood and branches to build a small hut, a fragile shelter against the wind and rain. He learned to break coconuts, to catch fish with sharp sticks, and to listen to the whispers of the forest. Slowly, he began to live with the silence of the island. Then, one afternoon, after lighting a small fire to cook his meal, Kofi wandered into the forest to search for fruit. When he returned, his heart nearly stopped. His hut, the only home he had built with his bare hands, was engulfed in flames. The fire leapt high into the sky, and the smoke coiled upward like a serpent. All his food, all his tools, all his hope, turned to ashes before his eyes. Kofi fell to his knees, his voice breaking. "O Spirit of the heavens, why do you punish me so? Was it not enough to strip me of my people, my ship, my life? Must you now take the little I had left? You are cruel. You are deaf to my cries." That night, he lay upon the cold sand, the stars watching silently above him. His body trembled with grief, his eyes burned with tears, and at last, exhaustion dragged him into sleep. But when dawn touched the horizon, a sound stirred him awake. The call of a horn, the crash of oars, the shouts of men. He sat up and rubbed his eyes. There, just beyond the waves, stood a great ship anchored near the shore. Kofi leapt to his feet, his heart pounding. He waved his arms and shouted until his voice cracked. Soon, a canoe was lowered, and sailors rowed toward him. They lifted him into their vessel, wrapping him in blankets. He could hardly speak from joy, but at last he asked, "How did you know I was here? How did you find this lonely island?" The captain smiled and pointed toward the sky. "Yesterday, as we sailed nearby, we saw a great column of smoke rising from the island. We said to ourselves, someone must be stranded there calling for help. So we changed our course to find you." Kofi stood in silence. His knees trembled, his eyes filled with tears, and his heart swelled with awe. The very fire he cursed, the flames that destroyed his home, had become the signal that saved his life. In that moment, he bowed his head and whispered, "Forgive me, Great Spirit, I did not see your plan. What I thought was my ruin was your hand guiding me to deliverance." From that day on, Kofi told his story wherever he went. That when despair burns our hopes to ashes, sometimes it is only clearing the path for God's greater plan to shine through. So, dear listener, remember this. When your hut burns, do not lose faith. What looks like loss may be the very signal that brings your rescue. The ancestors say, "The drumbeat of God never misses a step, even when our ears cannot hear the rhythm." Trust the plan, for it is always greater, stronger, and more beautiful than your own. And if this story touched your heart, stay close, for many more tales of wisdom await you. Stories that remind us to believe, to endure, and to never stop trusting in the unseen hand that guides our steps.